Hi, welcome. This is tip 1 of a 5-tip series of how to rank in Google. If you are a business owner yourself, maybe you're a web developer, web designer, maybe you've set up your own Shopify shop and you're not sure how to make it rank, some of these tips are going to apply to you. I have a 5-tip series. This is tip 1, make sure nothing on your website is broken. Stay tuned to find out about a free tool that's going to help you to make sure nothing on your website is broken. So I'm going to talk to you today about the W3C Validator. This is a free tool that I've been using myself on my client websites for years. It is a fabulous tool. It helps you to make sure that your website is more accessible to people with disabilities. So some people that are navigating the internet, they're using screen readers to do so. A screen reader in a lot of ways is a little bit like Googlebot, in the sense that they're navigating the page, they can't necessarily see the content that's on the page, so you need to make sure that you're providing them with the context and the content for each item. In particular, to do with images, each image should have an alt tag. Now, in a lot of systems like Shopify or WordPress or Weebly or any of these online CMS systems or your self-hosted system, you're going to see something in your media tab when you drill down into the images that are uploaded on your website. So you should, depending on your system, be able to click into each image and add the alternative text for each image in there. This is going to help Google in deciphering exactly what your image is about and giving context to that image. It's also going to help users with slow internet. When you think about it, maybe someone loaded your web page and your images didn't load. So it's nice to let them know that if the image didn't load for whatever reason, this is what the image is of that you're missing on the page. And of course, it's also good for Googlebot. So Googlebot comes to your page, it is after getting better with AI at deciphering exactly the subject of an image or what an image might be of. But sometimes you do need to provide that text to give the exact details of what the image is of, just to help the Googlebot along. So this is the tool that I use. It's great for accessibility. It's great for checking your images. It's also great for just making sure nothing is broken on your website. So this may be that maybe an image was supposed to be output on a page and actually it didn't output, or it didn't output correctly. So you want to avoid issues like this that will impact on your SEO by just making sure that your HTML code is good quality, what's being output is not broken, and this is the tool to help you to do that. So here we are on the W3C Markup Validation service page. This is available completely free of charge at validator.w3.org. And as you can see here, I have my own URL here ready to check, so I'm just going to click check. And that is now going to check my home page, and it's going to let me know whether it found any errors in the code. Now, the document checking has been completed. There are no errors or warnings to show. So here, if something was broken on your website, whether it might be a broken image tag, or maybe you had a heading tag that wasn't closed properly, maybe, if you have a paragraph tag that isn't closed and now it's going into a heading tag, but maybe you didn't notice this because you thought that the heading was meant to be styled, looking like a paragraph. These are things that can really impact on your SEO without you realizing it. So maybe your headings are actually being output as maybe p tags according to the browser because your H1 or your H2 or whatever heading tag you put in was actually broken. So this is a great tool. It's going to be able to show you errors. It's just a kind of a quality control thing, making sure that your code is good, that it's solid, that there's no errors, and also you can use this really handy image report check. So we're going to just tick that, and we're going to check the home page again. So this image report is just making sure that each text has a textual alternative. So like I was explaining there earlier, people with screen readers that can't see the image do need a textual alternative. People that have slow internet speeds and maybe your image just didn't load correctly for them. Now, of course, you should have your image at the smallest size and very compressed, but at the same time, sometimes people have absolutely terrible internet, especially in rural areas that might be using their phones. And you do want to make sure that if something didn't load for somebody for whatever reason, that you're letting them know what's missing on the page. And as I said, again, with Googlebot, yes, it's after getting more intelligent in deciphering exactly what image is on each page, but at the same time, there's absolutely no harm giving it the alternative text with the descriptive text in there, letting it know what the image is of, giving it a helping hand. So here we can see that any of the images that are output on the page, they do have a textual equivalent, which is great, and it's showing me what the textual equivalent is for each image. So if I wanted to go and edit these, I can now go in and edit them quite easily, and I know exactly what's going on the website. Now here's another quite useful tick box here called outline. Now this is just going to check your heading tags for you. And you can see here that I do have what's called missing tags here. So in my web design testimonials area, I have a H1. Then it's telling me that my H2 and my H3 are missing, and I've gone straight for H4. Now in this particular scenario, I in fact am going to change my web design testimonials to be a H2 tag instead, because I would rather have just one H1 tag on my page. So this is kind of a useful structure. Now if you don't have coding knowledge, please don't be scared by looking at these weird pointy bracket H1, H2, H3 tags. This is useful even if you can just run your page through this tester and see, are you making use of any heading tags? You should be. You should certainly have a H1 on the page. You should certainly have a H2. And you should certainly be splitting your content according to various heading tags, just to make it easier to read for people, and just having a better structure overall to your page. So I find this a really, really good tester. It's also really good for web developers for just troubleshooting. Sometimes you can't see where where exactly an open tag has been left, and this tool is so good in that it'll tell you the exact line that your error is occurring. So this is a fabulous tool. It's free, it's so handy, it helps make your website more accessible. It helps you find things that are broken on your website, and especially you do not want broken images being output on your website. You don't want broken heading tags. You want your headings to be outputting correctly. You don't want any heading tag to be degraded because the code has actually been written badly and now your H tag is output as a P tag because something was left open and something else was closed. So you just want to avoid that entire mess, making sure that your HTML code is structured correctly and making sure that it's all being output exactly the way it should be is so good for your ranking in search, in my opinion. Now, does it have a direct correlation with search results? I.e., if I put my website through the W3C validator and I make it completely error-free, am I now guaranteed a fantastic page one, top of the page listing from Google? Well, you'll have to listen to what John Mueller has to say, who works with webmasters every day to supply us with the information we need in order to get our websites to rank. So he is a senior Google Webmaster Trends analyst, and his information is gold dust. It really is. So I'm going to actually look him up. So thank you to Search Engine Journal for documenting John Mueller's response to a question that was specifically to do with W3C validation and what impact it might have on your website in search results. So we're just going to play that clip right now.
Those are kind of the two places I will double check. I checked my page with the W3C validator and it showed me 300 errors. Can it slow down the time to download a page? No, this does not affect time to download a page. Time to download a page is purely the time that it takes from Googlebot asking your server for a URL to your server having provided that full content to Googlebot. What is on that page is totally irrelevant, other than that if you have a lot of text, then maybe it'll take a long time to transfer. But HTML errors are totally irrelevant for that. In general, the W3 validation is something that we do not use when it comes to search. So you don't need to worry if your pages kind of meet the validation bar or not. However, using the validator is a great way to double check that you're not doing anything broken on your site. So in particular for other kinds of devices, for people who need accessibility features, the W3 validator is a great way to kind of get a confirmation that the markup that you're providing is pretty reasonable and is something that most kind of consumers of markup will be able to understand well. So I definitely recommend checking out the validator tool and trying it on your pages and seeing what the results are, and then trying to improve things so that you're a little bit more in line with really valid HTML, because that just generally makes things a lot easier when it comes to displaying your pages, when it comes to understanding the content on your pages for things like screen readers. All of that makes it a lot easier if you have reasonable HTML.
So as you can see there, John Mueller does recommend the use of the W3C Validator. At the same time, he puts a little caveat of saying, look, this isn't something that if you are getting errors in your code there, that this has an impact on your Google search ranking. He's kind of just saying that it's a useful tool. It's good to make sure that nothing is broken on your website. It's good to make sure that your website is accessible to people with disabilities. But this isn't something that necessarily that you have your green result, that you have no errors on this page, and now you're going to fly up to the first, the first result in Google for something. So typically SEO doesn't work like that anyway, because there are so many different ranking factors. But I would definitely say my tip number one that you have just watched, thank you for watching until the end, is that this tool will help you to make sure that nothing is broken on your website, and it's helping you to make sure that your HTML is well structured and that you have a text alternative for every image on your page. That is a really good thing. It's great for the overall health of your website, and that code is going to serve you best for the 4 more tips that I have coming. So stay tuned. Please subscribe if you got some good value out of this video. Thank you.